The Earth is home to roughly 7 billion people with diverse cultures and languages. But despite our differences, we are all linked by business. We all eat, shop, and dream of owning something. And most of us work. All businesses must have supervisors to function. Supervisors oversee the work of others to accomplish the objectives of the business. They represent both management to the workers and the workers to management. Welcome to SuperVision. I'm Gemmy Allen, and I'll be your guide through this SuperVision class. The supervisor should know how communication really occurs in the organization. Remember that the grapevine is the informal communication channel that carries much information and rumors of interest to employees. Listening is the most important supervisory communication skill. Active listening is giving full attention to what other people are saying. It enables the supervisor to get to the bottom of an issue and get the person responsible to deal with it. Because it is non-judgmental, the other party feels freer to discuss and resolve the matter. Active listening helps the person see the matter clearly and encourages a solution. Non-listening, blocking statements are common everyday expressions. When supervisors start a conversation with "you," employees become defensive and block constructive responses. I messages facilitate active listening. A good I message expresses feeling, behavior, and consequence. Let's see how listening works. The following scenario may seem old, but the information is still relevant today. Use it to model your own philosophy of management.
What's new, Bonnie Sue? You got a minute?
Morning, Scott. Sit down. Would you like a cup of coffee?
No.
What you got on your mind, Scott?
Well, I'm still a little foggy about this new incentive plan.
What don't you understand?
Like we get our base pay every day, even if a machine breaks down or something.
That's right.
Then the incentive is for everything we do above what we're normally supposed to do.
Right.
Well, what's to keep a person from doing 2 or 3 times as much?
Well, nothing. That's the idea of the whole plan. You get paid for as much as you do.
That's the best news I've heard all year. Oh, I sure hope this company can afford me.
I do too, Scott. I do too.
Wait a minute, Bonnie Sue.
Well, sure, Phil.
I was wondering if I could take a few days off.
Well, what's the trouble, Phil?
Well, nothing much, actually. I've been having a few headaches recently. I thought a few days off would help.
You sound kind of down, Phil.
Yeah, a little.
A little?
Well, more than a little. I'm not just as young as I used to be.
What are you worrying about, Phil?
I'm not as strong as I used to be.
Well, what's so important about being strong?
You can work much harder when you're strong.
Well, do you need to work harder?
Well, I do now.
Sounds like you're worrying about that new incentive plan.
I'll tell you, Bonnie Sue, the world belongs to the young. Scott's down there doing handsprings. What's going to happen to me when they start speeding things up?
Sounds like you're worried about something that might happen, and you're not even sure if it's going to happen.
I don't know for sure, but it looks fairly certain.
Well, now, let's not get all hot and bothered about it. You do just the best that you can, and we'll see how it all works out. You know, Scott can't go 90 miles an hour every day. I mean, but even if he should, why should that bother you?
It's obvious. If Scott turns out twice as much, they're going to expect all of us to turn out twice as much.
Well, heaven knows I can't talk for the engineers, but the kind of step-up you're talking about is not what they have in mind. What the important thing is that you set yourself a pace and then stay steady with it.
Okay, Bonnie Sue. I'll give it a shot.
You let me know how it goes now, okay?
Okay.
How you doing, Margot?
I'm really unhappy, and I don't think you realize how important this situation is.
You're upset and I'm not acting like it's serious?
Yeah, well, it's like I told you in the meeting. This is really going to affect my work.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like to do a job, and if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to do it right. But I don't think I can do my job right if I'm pushing parts out that are going to be defective just to make a faster buck.
This is really getting to you, isn't it?
It really is, and I want to do something about it. Now, I know I'm conscientious. I do good and accurate work. Well, maybe I'm too conscientious.
Well, it sounds like you are proud of what you're doing, but you're thinking that you're spending too much time on it, and it's to make it super terrific?
Yeah, I'm beginning to think so. I mean, I always check and double-check everything, and I probably doesn't need it. There are rarely any defects. I'd like to just do it once and push it on, get on to the next thing, but I feel I need to check it again. I don't want anybody catching me making a mistake.
Sounds like you're realizing you overdo your checking, but because you're afraid of making a mistake, it just forces you to keep rechecking, huh?
Yeah, but I'm like that all the time, not just about my work, but about lots of things. I mean, I don't want people catching me making a mistake. I guess I'm a kind of perfectionist.
It's important in everything you do, huh?
Yeah. Only it's going to be a real problem now because it takes too much time to be perfect.
Sounds like you're working up the courage to make a change.
Well, I'd like to try for a week, just checking everything once and then sending it on.
Well, why don't you do that?
I will if you promise you won't fire me.
Barbara, we're all allowed to make mistakes now and then. I mean, we all do. That's why we hire a parts inspector.
Well, then, I'm game if you are.
Sounds like we got ourselves a deal.
Carl Rogers formulated 5 rules for active listening. First, decide that you want to listen. Try to eliminate distractions, such as background noise. As the receiver, take in the sender's message silently, without speaking. Throughout the conversation, show the speaker that you're listening. Nod your head and keep your attention focused on the speaker. Say things like, "Yes, that's interesting." As you're listening, pay attention to the sender's body language for additional cues about how she's feeling. Respond to feelings. Silence plays a major role in active listening. During active listening, we are trying to understand what has been said, and in silence, we can consider the implications. We can't consider information and reply to it at the same time. That's where the power of silence comes into play. If anything is not clear to you, ask questions. Confirm that you've heard the message accurately by repeating the essence of the message back to the sender. In summary, active listening creates a more dynamic relationship between a receiver and a sender. It strengthens personal investment in the information being shared. It also forges healthy working relationships among colleagues by making speakers and listeners equally valued members of the communication process.